What's up, nailistas? We are back with another nail video, and in today's video I will be doing an acrylic tutorial on C-curve tips, and I will be narrating the tutorial so you can kind of know more about what I am doing and why I am doing it. All right, so I have Mia Secrets acrylic monomer prep and primer. The tips that I am using are some tips that I got off of Amazon from a shop, and they sent me the wrong tips. However, I do like these tips, so I won't be shouting them out. It's just like a small shop that's on Amazon. Um, so yeah, I won't be posting the link or anything for them, but there are some good quality tips. However, they were supposed to be full coverage. So when you first start out, you want to make sure that you are pushing back the cuticles. And the cuticles are just really, it's the eponychium. Technically, the cuticles are the brown spot that you see that I'm not pushing. That's technically your cuticle. You are pushing back the eponychium, which is the outgrowth of skin that builds up between your cuticle and your nail plate. So you're just pushing that back to loosen it up from the nail plate. Then you want to take either a hand file or an e-file, and you want to gently remove that dead skin and any oils that you may have on the nail plate. What I am using here is a carbide, a fine carbide bit, and I left this in real time. This clip is in real time so that you can see how lightly I am touching the nail plate. You should not be holding the file at any angle. It should be flat. It should be parallel to your desk. That way you don't cause any rings of fire or any ridges in your nail. So that is why I left that in real time, so you can see how lightly I am filing over each of my fingernails. Okay, and I must say that y'all might notice that my fingernails are rather thin. They're not painful thin. And if you do have nails that are your natural nails that are painful, then you might want to let them rest. They are a little red. However, they're hard enough for me to do an enhancement. If y'all recalled from other videos, I have not had acrylic on my nails since July, the beginning of July at that. I took off my last acrylic set then, and I've been doing press-ons and gel products. So your poly gel, your hard UV gel, and gel polish, because those aren't as harsh. The chemicals aren't as harsh as monomer and acetone from soaking off the acrylic. So I am just lightly removing and going in one motion, one direction. So I am going from right to left, and I am just lightly, ever so lightly, and my file is on like the first one or two notches. So what is that, 100,000 RPMs? Am I saying that right? Is it 10,000 RPM? I don't know. The lowest setting of my drill. Okay, so now we're going to just fit the tips. And these are some 3XL C-curve tips. However, I do end up cutting them down. And the reason why I cut them down is because it's Thanksgiving. I will be cooking. And, I have stuff to do. I really like how they look with the whole length, but it's just a little bit too long for my liking. However, the quality is great on these tips, so that's why I'm using them versus some shorter C-curve tips. They're not bendy. They're actually like hard plastic. It's almost like glass or something, but they're lightweight, and the shape of them are just, yeah, they're just everything. So we are using our KDS glue, which is the best nail glue by far that I've used, and that's all I use is KDS glue. And I'm going to just trim my nails here just a little bit because there are some jagged pieces, and yeah, it was just kind of annoying my skin. Like I had some nails digging into my skin. So I'm just taking my nail clipper. You want to make sure you do that first before anything else. Clip your nails, push back the cuticles, remove the shine. We're not going to get into buffing. Not buffing. Excuse me. We're not going to get into prepping and priming until after we got our false tips on. This way, if you have to file or anything like that, you're not getting dust on your primer, because that will cause lifting. So this way is the foolproof way. And just a little hint, if you have a crooked finger, you can do one or two things. If you want your hands to look straight, you have to put that tip on the crooked finger based off your other fingers. See my pointer finger, it's a little crooked. And I place the tip to where it looks natural, but it matches with the other finger. Just practice makes perfect. Okay, there's been plenty of times where I've had to take that finger off and redo it, but my finger is crooked from me doing nails and doing hair and braiding and things like that. So I became double jointed in that finger pretty much. So we will be cutting these tips 3/4 of the way down, not too short, but look, y'all see how long that is? Like it went down my wrist. And I've never worn nails that long, and I'm afraid to because if you ever broken a nail, you know how painful that is. Okay. So that's why I'm cutting them down just a little bit because I do have to cut some hair and do some things. And even the nails that I have may be a little too long, but I can work with them. So I will be taking some scissors and cutting the sidewalls of these C curve tips just to ensure that, and here's the clip right here, just to ensure that they're not too bulky. I can't stand sometimes when I do C curve tips and they just look super bulky and they look unnatural. And I'm not cutting away the C curve. That's the thing. Some people get the mindset that, okay, why buy C curve tips if you're going to cut the sidewalls? Isn't that the whole point? You're going to end up filing that anyway. So just to save some filing time, I just use my nail shears and I cut the sidewalls. And it's at this point that I realized that I needed to have these tips shorter because I would not be able to do what it is I need to do. However, once again, the quality of the tips are everything. So I am using an 80/80 grit file, and that is the most abrasive file that I know of. Leave in the comments if they make a file. If you know of a file that's like 75 or 70 grit, but I believe 80 grit files are the most abrasive. Now with your files, just a little tidbit with your files, the higher the number, it's going to be the higher the grit. So like when you get into your 200s and 240s, those are going to be like your buffers because the grits are more granulated and they're closer together. On an 80/80 grit file, the grit is further apart, thus making that file more abrasive, more rough. And it's going to take away more surface at a faster rate. Okay, so here are my nail trimmers. And I am cutting down and I'm just measuring from the cuticle. If you want the tailored look for pictures, you want to measure the nails. You want to measure each nail from the cuticle, even the pinky. And you'll see me do that here. So the only thing that I am filing on these tips are the side walls and the free edge. You will not see me go over the nail to make it rough. Your acrylic will adhere without filing. Because what will happen with these long tips, and it kept happening to me and some of my clients, if you go over that tip where the well is, it's going to loosen and weaken that. You run the risk of the nail breaking because you're making that tip thinner. If that makes sense. So I just don't do that in my service anymore. And that's a way for you to cut out time. There's no point, the tip is already the shape that I want. I love square nails. That is my number one choice, tapered square. So we just trimmed with the nail trimmer. We're making sure they're all even. File the side walls just to clean up what we've cut, and the free edge just to clean up and make sure everything is nice, neat, and even. And then you go on about your day. You do not have to file. I know other YouTube creators say otherwise, and it's different strokes for different folks. I'm not saying that they're wrong and I'm right. I'm not saying that I'm wrong and they're right. It's just preference. I notice with my work and my techniques, if I do not file the tip on the top, then my nails will not break, like split in half, even after you lay the acrylic on top or the enhancement. I had it breaking. So I just do not. What I will do is build my apex enough to where there's no hump and you can't even tell that there's a tip there. And that's why a lot of people do file their tips because they want it to blend in with their natural nail. Well, if you lay the apex right and not make your nails super thin towards the cuticle, then you won't see where that tip ends or begins. So that's how you combat that. I'd rather do it my way. Trust me, I used to do it the other way. It just didn't work for me. But, to each their own. These are just some of the things that I do that I will find helpful if I was new at doing my own nails. And these are tips you can use on other people. They're just in general. But This is for the person that, is sitting at home, you got all the products, and you need a guide. Okay? That's what this is for. So you can take out your nail stuff, turn on this video, you can rewind, fast forward, replay as many times as you like, and this is a good guide, as if I'm in the room with you telling you what to do. So that's what this is for. And after I cut the nails and file them, you see that I'm putting them on the desk. This is important. This is to make sure that your side walls, are evenly filed. Because if not, when you go to sit your nail on that desk or that flat surface, you will see some lifting on one side. You'll see if it's uneven. That's going to make sure your nails are straight. Okay, because sometimes it's hard to tell. So now what we're doing, we got our Mia Secret dehydrator. I'm going in and dehydrating the nail. And if you do not have this, a great alternative to use is rubbing alcohol. At least 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol. You can use 90%, just at least 70. You don't want to use 50-50 because that's mainly water. So you want to use something higher than 50-50. Now what I am doing is going in with my Mia Secret primer, and this stuff is amazing. Even if I don't use Mia Secret, I still use this prep and primer, but I try to use everything the same for the most part. And that primer, it starts off watery, but as time goes on, you get to the end of the bottle, it does get a little more stickier for you. And that's what you want. Primer should have a little bit of sticky, because that's going to act as an adhesive, it's going to act as an adhesive for your acrylic to your nail plate. So what I'm doing here is called a slip layer, because I am using a colored acrylic, which is the nude. Now, if I want to change this, all I have to do is file down to this layer, this clear. If I want to change my nude or change up my colored acrylic, this slip layer allows me to file to the to the clear without having to soak off the whole nail. I know that my nails are kind of thin and I don't want to necessarily per se soak them off, but I may want to change them, so this is the best way to ensure that you can change your acrylic color. You don't have to be stuck wearing the same color. And then there's other things you can do. If you have clients in your nude, you can just tell them we can do colored acrylic, and then should you ever want to change your color, we can always do shellac on top of it or gel polish on top of it, or we can do a slip layer. And when I did have my clients, I had a couple of girls that did long acrylic nails. I would always do this for them, and I wouldn't charge anything. I included it in my price. Whether they got it or not, it was included in the price. And they didn't even know, because my prices are so competitive and fair, but that's included. I don't charge extra for doing a slip layer, especially because, that's like charging extra for pushing back the cuticles. That's something you're really supposed to do with colored acrylics, so that the natural nails aren't turning yellow and, being discolored from the acrylic. You should do that anyway. I know some people probably prefer not to have the slip layer, but it's a very smart thing to have. Okay, so we're just putting that on all 5 of the fingers, and I'm only doing my one hand on camera because my non-dominant hand, I don't think y'all will want to see that. It's kind of more of a struggle with my non-dominant hand. However, you can learn to do anything with practice, so just practice. You want to make sure you're holding your finger in a downward motion, especially when you're getting by the cuticles, because the gravity is going to help you not flood your cuticles. That was something that simple I did not get in the beginning. I was holding my hands every which way, and I kept wondering, why are my cuticles flooded? And then at the end, when it cures, you have to spend all that time filing, and you run the risk of cutting yourself by your cuticles because it's so close to the skin. But I finally mastered it, y'all, in 2022. I've only been doing this for almost 3 years. January 1st will make 3 years that I've been messing with acrylic. Now, first time I picked up an acrylic brush was January of 2020, right before quarantine. I start buying the nail stuff to do nail stuff. So we're covering this whole nail, even the tip, because you don't want to. I know some people just, they just put the clear on their nail bed, but I like to do the whole tip because I don't want to foul my fake tip at all, just to keep it nice and even. It gives that, once I foul these off, I know once I see clear, I don't have to foul anymore. That's the clear acrylic. Another thing, another good tip is always wipe your brush. That's going to save you a lot of having to soak it and stopping in your service. So make sure you're wiping your brush when you lay that bead, boom, down. Okay, and this is where it's a little sped up. So I laid that first bead, then boom, I went straight to my napkin, wiped my brush, and then I went back to my bead and start shaping it. Then you wipe your brush. Then you dip your brush to get your next bead. Once you got that next bead, you lay it on the nail, boom, wipe your brush. I am using medium beads. So that means equal parts monomer and polymer, equal parts liquid and powder, pretty much is what that is. So also I am using a size 10 brush, and that's what I'm comfortable with. I do alternate between this 10 and a 14 because my brushes are old, and I've had to revive these brushes a couple times. I had a lot of acrylic stuck in them. So acrylic just tends to get stuck in them now. Since that has happened, I can get a good 3 to 4 fingers done, and then I have to alternate between another brush. Some of my old clients will tell you, they're like, why are you using 2 brushes? Because, honey, let me tell you, these brushes are revived, and they probably still have acrylic stuck in them. However, I can still use them. The bristles are still moisturized. So I am holding that finger in a downward motion, especially because we're by that cuticle. You want to make sure your cuticle beads and your side walls are flush. That's going to stop the nail from looking bulky and unnatural. So my finger is kind of in the way, but if you can kind of see what I'm doing here, I'm brushing that product in a downward motion and blending to the prior bead. And it's almost like a tucking motion by the cuticle. And I do apologize, my finger is in the way. Also, look at how I'm holding my hand. Because I'm working on myself, I am, using my pinky on my hand for leverage, as a lever. What else? I'm twisting my wrist versus holding moving my head, things like that. I'm going to get a drink of water. Believe it or not, y'all, this is my second take. The first take got deleted because I had to stop in the middle of editing and go talk to my mechanic. So, yeah, it got deleted. I was moving too fast and accidentally deleted my voiceover. So this is the second go at my voiceover, but this one is going a lot better than the first take anyway. So just going to let y'all watch a little bit of what I'm doing. We're done with that nail. We're moving on to the ring finger. And in real life, this took me about an hour and 6 minutes from the time I started, putting the tips on, cutting my nails, prepping my nail beds, and doing the acrylic. So I think if I would have done the other hand, it wouldn't take that long because you got to keep in mind, you know, I cut out a lot of me getting my products together. I don't know why I do that on camera a lot, but I need to start getting everything together off camera. So it's less editing for me to do, and I can give y'all accurate times. I would have to say it takes 2 hours for nails this long, 2 hours, and that's including the fouling too. If I lay the acrylic really well, I don't have to foul as much, and that goes for everybody. Try to lay that acrylic really well, especially if you're like me and you don't like fouling a whole bunch. I hate it. Like, I'm a sensory person, and it used to really grate my nerves to get my nails fouled, to file nails, or to hear somebody else getting their nails fouled. But I've gotten used to it in the last 3 years. So, yeah, I've gotten used to it. All Right. So this video is 33 minutes long. I feel like it's not that long. I did a great job of editing. So can't nobody complain, oh, your video's too long. There's way longer nail videos than 33 minutes. Plus, I give you a lot jam-packed in this 33 minutes. So after this video, you could just order the stuff and do your own nails, right? I'm giving you a lot of different gems and different tricks and tips on how to do it. So here I'm just fixing the free edge. Now I am using the 3 bead method. However, that does not mean you only have to use 3 beads. 3 bead method is just to lay the foundation. And if you need a little, nip tuck here and there, like I just did on the sidewall, it's kind of flat, I'm going to fix it. Because like I said, that's going to ensure that I don't have to spend time fouling the rest of the nail to the lower part. Just add more acrylic to the lower part to make it more leveled, you know? So acrylic, laying acrylic is really like sculpting. You really are sculpting something. So for those of you that, are even attempting to do acrylic nails, I commend you because it's not easy. We look at videos sometimes and we're like, oh my gosh, this used to be me. That looks so easy, I can do it. And then when you try to do it, you're like, no, I can't. This is harder than it looks, right? That used to be me. But let me tell you something, practice does make perfect. And in our industry, in our profession, for those of us that's doing it professionally, imitation goes a long way. And that's why I wanted to be one of those nail techs that create content that help others. I wanted to help others. And I'm going to be honest. I'm one of the most honest content creators on YouTube. Um, because I've come on here, I've come live, everything, and told y'all like these nails were ugly, this was hard, I struggle with designs, woo. I don't try to make it seem like, oh, it's a piece of cake and I'm a millionaire because I got all these clients. I've never came on here and capped ever about anything. So, uh, yeah, these nails aren't easy. I just mastered C curve tips, and how do they get them square? I think in one of my just recent videos, I was just like, how do they get them so tapered? I want my nails to look tapered. Well, this nail that I'm working on right here, you see how I'm patting the sides? That is how you can get to start that tapered look. Then when you go in with your straight file, that will further, and I probably should do a filing video, but I wanted to do this C-curve video before I did a filing video. Stay tuned. That filing video probably will be coming up next on how to finish that tapered look. But see how I'm patting the free edge? I'm patting the top of it. You just make it look like a box. Okay? You want the side walls to be tapered. You want the top of it to be tapered. You want the free edge to be tapered. The only thing that's rounded on it are the cuticles. And you see how I'm taking my brush and I'm kind of just cleaning and I'm tucking that acrylic around the cuticle and the sidewall to make sure it's flush to look natural. Just trust me, y'all. Y'all can look at old pictures. Go on my Facebook. Look at old pictures. I used to have them boxy. I used to have my acrylic everywhere, uneven. Cuticles were hell. And, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of talent. So if you are a nail tech, whether you are licensed or not, I commend you. And keep going. Now this segment right here, this clip is in real time. I wanted y'all to see how meticulous and slow I was actually moving. A lot of us speed up our work because we're worried about our videos being too long and people not watching them. And yeah, if you're a content creator, you do have to kind of keep that in mind. But I wanted to leave this particular clip in real time. Now we're back sped up, okay? I wish I could zoom through nails like this, but no, it takes time. So with that being said, if you are somebody that are providing services, keep in mind your time, when you're pricing, when you're making your price list. Keep in mind how long it actually takes for you to do something like that. And if people, don't worry about people that's not going to come to you because, oh, you're charging too much or, oh, you're taking too long. They're just not for you. That's all that is. You got to be confident enough to, know what you can do within your limitations or whatever and charge based, on that. Charge accordingly to that. And that was something that took me a couple of years to really, and I still kind of struggle with that. Sometimes I'd be like trying to cut people deals and stuff. And I'm like, I need to stop that. My work is good. And I just finally got to a place to where I believe in myself. I know that I'm a good nail tech because I've seen a lot of horrible work, not from anybody in particular, just out there on the internet, wherever, on people's hands in real life. You know, I've had people come to me and be like, look at these nails. I went to such and such salon. What do you think? I think you should let me soak those off and do them for you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna bash nobody else's work. I'm just be like, hey, I can do something different. And anybody can go see my portfolio. Like I have portfolio right here, YouTube. These are videos, TikTok videos, Instagram shorts, And then I also have the pictures. So you can see me working. There's no scam here, you know. So I just don't bash anybody, but there are the not so good. We all know that. There's the not so good. So I commend those of you who don't give up and you perfect your craft. Like for me, it's not about making money. I mean, yeah, that's not the only goal. Let me put it like that. Yeah, that's the goal. That's the, intent. I'm doing all of this to work on people and to make a living. However, that is not my only motivator. I love what I do. It's my passion for real. So I'm going to make sure that it's done right and that my customers are satisfied. Okay? Customer satisfaction. I don't really like to say clients. I like to say customers when I do have customers. As of right now, I'm not taking any customers. Okay? None whatsoever. I work on press-on tips. Okay? So that is those nails without me fouling or anything. These nails are going to be cured in a little bit. And now we're going to work on the thumb. So in school, they like to teach us to work from the pinky to your thumb. So start with your pinky. And that's what I've adopted that. At first, I'm like, I'm going to start with whatever finger I want. And you really don't have to. But for me, it works. Because you don't have to worry about bumping other nails. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of out the way. It works for me. I don't know. I can't explain it. But I like to do my thumb last. And that's why they tell you start from your pinky and work to your thumb. Because your thumb, you're going to hold your hands different. And you want you don't want to bump your primer. You don't want to, So I just work with my pinky first into my thumb. And then once my thumb is done, my hand is pretty much done. I don't have to worry about my thumb curing funny because I'm trying to do my fingers. So I think that's why. But yeah, so I'm just doing the same steps and, you guys can kind of watch me work. I think I went over all of my tips and tricks for y'all. You kind of see how, I'm just making sure I don't have a speed bump in my nail. And I remember my first teacher used to say that. There's a speed bump. And I used to get so mad. Like, what does she mean? That's the apex. No. There are some speed bumpy nails out there, y'all. The apex should not be that strong. Like, I don't care how long the nails are. That's just too big of an apex. I'll have to show y'all. I'll have to show y'all some of my old work and tell y'all what's wrong with it so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to critique somebody else's work. Excuse my phone. I'm not going to critique somebody else's work, but I can come on here and show y'all some of my beginner work and be like, this is what I did wrong. This nail was crooked. This nail was this, So maybe we can do that. Maybe that'll be my next upload because all I have to do is go find some pictures, which aren't hard to find, of my horrible work. But yeah, my progress. I've came a long way. Even just from this time last year, I did some white nails, C-curve tips, and they weren't the best, They weren't horrible either, but they weren't the best. Like, these are shaped. So if you made it this far in the video, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can share this video by copying the link, and you can put it on a Facebook post or your Reddit or whatever. Wherever you can share videos, make sure you share and get the word out there. I like to look at myself as like a nail podcaster. We talk about topics. We talk about nail topics. We talk about whatever's going on, God, We talk about different stuff. It's just like you're being in a nail salon and you're talking to your nail tech. So it's nail conversations. Um, so yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure you hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop. And as of lately, I've been dropping a lot, trying to get my numbers up while I have the time to do so. All right. Remember earlier when I said I do the 3 beat method, but I need to add, sometimes you need to add more. This is what I'm doing right here in this clip. I'm adding more to the tip. And remember, you want your nails to be as thin as a credit card, no thicker. I think that's a little too thin, so I do it a little thicker. It's all personal preference. Um, but if somebody come to me and they want their nails like bricks, oh yeah, that's going to be an extra charge. That's more product. It's like double the work. If you want your nails double thick, it's going to be double the. It's going to be an extra fee on top of that. So stay tuned because here I have a clip of me filing. Even though this isn't a filing video, I do have some clips of me filing these nails. So you can kind of see how I'm working my hand file and my e-file. Y'all see how great these nails look without me filing them. So this is the goal. You want to make your nails look like they already been filed when you lay your acrylic. That just means when you go to file, because you still want to file, it's going to be the cherry on top of that cake. It's going to make it look even better. So your goal every time that you lay acrylic should be, or gel or polygel, should be to make it look like it's done already. Because then your clients are going to look, if you're doing somebody else's hand, they're going to look like, oh my gosh, she got a lot of filing to do, or oh my gosh, these are going to be ugly. Not even because of that. It's just to make your workload lighter, so you don't have to work as hard filing, trying to get the perfect shape. Just lay your acrylic. Practice on laying your acrylic as best as you can so you don't have to spend so much time filing. All right, that is how those nails look without filing. I am just patting things into place, getting them nice and tapered. And let me tell you, these nails are straight. All right, check out my TikTok, check out my Instagram. I did do one for these nails. And let me tell you, here's the clue. They're straight. All right, bonus clip. I'm going to let y'all go ahead and enjoy this. God bless you. And until the next video,